EHORECON to issues behind the news, a program where we dig deep, bring you more on trending issues in the country. In this edition, we are going to focus World Talent Day with 2023 theme as celebration too. My name is Salim Tejumona. Join me on the program today is Dr. Yakubu Mohammed Baba, Registrar, Chief Executive Officer, Environmental Health, Officers of Registration Council of Nigeria. Registrar, you are welcome to the program today.
Welcome to
every 19th of November is World Talent Day. It is a day that's set aside by United Nations to celebrate, to make awareness. One of your agency is one of authority of Nigerian government sector that deal with environment. This day, what's significant to Nigeria? Because Nigeria is part of the country that usually celebrates international community. Your significant to Nigeria.
Thank you very much. The World Talent Day, like what you have mentioned, is a day set aside by the United Nations to celebrate the World Talent Day. And that implies that the significance of the day is to create awareness on the importance of talent. It may interest you to know as a simpler fact that all of us visit the toilet every day. And this is to show you the significance of what we are discussing today. But the aspect that is more critical to environmental health as a sector is we know when you look at the statistics of how many people have access to this toilet and how many people also die as a result of not having access to toilets and its implications. What do I mean by implication? The implication of open defecation, which is a major public health challenge that increase the prevalence and also the incidence rate of gastrointestinal diseases, with high mortality of children under 5 who are more vulnerable to that. So you can see how the significance this day is to human life, because we know everybody visits the toilet every day and everybody put a toilet structure in all the structure is building in the South B, in the South B, in the South B, because of the significance of the toilet. So the significance cannot be overemphasized. It is part of our life and it is an integral part of our livelihood. So the way we manage and the way we have access to toilets determine our health indices in Nigeria.
Accelerating change. A layman will not be able to understand like you will, because you are the authority. So how can you explain the theme of this year to Nigeria?
It's like when you are embarking on a journey and you are speeding at 20 kilometers per hour and you have a distance to cover. You need to accelerate for you to be able to reach your destination, because there is a timeline. Why am I saying there is a timeline? Nigeria has signed into a target, which is the order number 9 issued by the former president Buhari as an international commitment that Nigeria wants to end open defecation by 2030. So when you look at the journey between the time that order number 9 was issued and the current situation that we are with the indices that is glaring, we need to accelerate the change. And accelerating the change means you have to bring everybody on board so that we will not be doing the talking, we will be doing the action, because there is a lot of rhetorics. Now it's time for us to match our words with our action. How can we achieve that? You can achieve it through bringing and setting targets for all stakeholders that are involved in making the target reality. For example, local government. We'll start with the local government. The local government has the biggest responsibility because the issue of sanitation is domiciled within the ambit of the local government. This was in Schedule 7 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. But there is a lot of challenges surrounding the management of the local. It's not only the sanitation. Because of the poor funding of sanitation and other aspects that is supposed to be handled by the local government, the state creates the State Environmental Protection Board. So the State Environmental Protection Board are complementing what the local government is doing in addressing the issue of sanitation. That's one. Then at the federal government, like what I mentioned earlier, the government has taken it very serious because this is the first time that in the restructuring of the ministries, the Ministry of Water Resources has been given additional mandate of sanitation. That means sanitation is one of the key components that is integral part of the mandate of water resources. Even though the larger picture of sanitation, about 15 components, are still domiciled in the Ministry of Environment. But the component that is in the water sector is water, sanitation, and hygiene. And you know, you cannot achieve hygiene without sanitation. And you cannot achieve also water quality without having a good hygiene. So they are intertwined. You can't separate water, hygiene, and sanitation. So that's why the government in its wisdom took that wash into water resources. So what is our expectations? What we are expecting is there is going to be more policy framework, more legislation, more guidelines coming for the state and local government to implement. Then we as the major stakeholders, let me say without missing my word, you cannot achieve open defecation without putting the environmental health officers at the front burner. And even the successes recorded in declaring about 105 local government as open defecation free was achieved actually by the sanitary inspector, the environmental health officers, because they are the two soldiers that are enforcing the law. They are the two soldiers that are embarking on serious advocacy. And you know, by the public health law, the environmental health officer working as such has powers and privileges of police officer. The public health law also give him power to enter into any premises within reasonable hours without a warrant for the purpose of inspecting that house and making sure that that house has adequate toilets. Because what we are discussing is not only building a toilet, but what we are looking at is adequacy of the toilet. Because in a places whereby you can see a big neighborhood where it is a rented apartment has more than 30 rooms and they have only 2 toilets. So you cannot say that house doesn't have a toilet, but that toilet is not adequate. And if the toilet is not adequate, you will deny the occupant access to that toilet, because somebody may be in need and somebody may be occupying the toilet. And also, it increases the saturation level of the toilet itself, because if you have designed the toilet and you didn't design to adequately cater for the number of personnel that's supposed to be to use the toilet, also is a caveat that toilet is there but the toilet is not adequate. Then we look at also issue of accessibility, because it is critical when you go to the developed countries like in China, for example, and other developed world. It is a standard. After every 2 kilometers, you must see a public toilet, because when you are going, you don't know when the call of nature will come, and you must answer that call of nature once it is being called. So we are looking at it as not only government responsibility, it is also a very serious business for the private sector to come and invest, because government cannot do it alone.
You mentioned 3 ministries, but you didn't mention the name. I want you to mention the name. What exactly key message that this three ministry also passed 2023?
Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Water Resources, and Ministry of Health.
And key message?
The key message is the three ministries must work together in the spirit of collaboration, because we are not fighting. We are not animals. We are humans. It's only in the animal farm that lions fight, because we have seen where before you will see the three ministries fighting on the issue of mandate, and it's not helping Nigeria. We in the council, we are under Ministry of Environment, but our staff are also in Ministry of Health, some are in Ministry of Water Resources, some are in solid minerals at the grassroots. And we work at the grassroots, because what we require is we need to have a policy direction with the buy-in of the three ministries, so that the state will buy in, so that at the implementation level there won't be any crisis. Because this is where the problem is. Ministry of Health will say no, sanitation is our mandate, so we must stick to it. Environment, sanitation is our mandate. Water resources, sanitation is our mandate. Now, we have seen in this celebration, these three ministries coming together, and they have agreed to work together in the spirit of collaboration and partnership. And this is what I think is going to be good for Nigerians, because Nigerians doesn't know about mandate. What they want is action at the grassroots. Who will deliver for me? And we at the council level, we have activated our lab, because before, when you look at the scenario of cholera, it takes about 3 weeks before NCDC will isolate the virus from the patient. But with our environmental and public health lab now, immediately we hear this, we quickly go and take the water sample, so that we can be able to isolate before the damage is done. And this is what we are building the capacity of our men to be embarking at the local government level and the state. And the federal government has provided the lab, the necessary ingredients and the necessary equipment for us to give that intervention. The second issue is the issue of legislation. Unfortunately, at the national level, we don't have the public health law. That law has been in the National Assembly for decades. It may amaze you to know that the law The national law we are operating as far as that public health law is concerned is a regional law, and the fines are in shillings. So you imagine after suffering all your prosecution, at the end of the day, for the judge or for the magistrate to find somebody who had defecated outside, you will charge him in shillings. So we are calling on the National Assembly to look at that legislation as a matter of priority so that we can come up with a national public health law that addresses the reality and also go in tandem with the reality of time.
I want to give you a last message to state government, because the local government cannot be able to do anything without the power, without the asset of what you call, without the power and permission of the state government. It's the state, because they are not the ones that are going to pay this land. So by the time the allocation comes from some government, they usually hijack it. That is why the local government, they cannot create. So I want you to give me a message, to allow what you call the message to state government for recruitment of officers.
When we have known the constraint of the local government, then we keep on saying this because it's still in our constitution. The constitution has not changed, and there is no way you can change the constitution. Because when you look at developed countries, places like London, maybe you can Google and hear the history of cholera outbreak of London. And that is in 50s, where it's as a result of a source of water that everybody is drinking. And that water has a link with the sewer line. So there is contamination at the point of source. And the local government participate actively in identifying the source of that pollution. So what we are saying, yes, the state can recruit more EHOs, but the power belongs to the local government. The local government, we call it environmental health authority, because you cannot operate in any local government without the permission of the local government house. So the constitution has given so much power to the local government, and you cannot change it, no matter how you want. The only thing is, we are calling that the local government, for us to change most of these narrations, the local government must have autonomy. Because the autonomy of the local government will bring development closer to the communities. And this is the solution. No matter how we preach that the state should employ, even if state employ, they cannot work in the state. They have to send them to the local government, because the job, community, the environmental health job is at the community level, not only at the community, at the ward level, because all of these things are coming at the ward level. And that's why when you look at the discussion that center this year, everybody must come on board. There is a role of the community too, because you have to bring the community on board. Why are we saying we should bring the community on board? For example, we have done some intervention in Abuja where there is a flash cholera outbreak. And what we did is we went to that community and we were able to teach the community how to construct simple toilets, because toilet has a level, but it serves the same purpose. So using local materials, they can be able to construct a toilet of their standard, because the aim is everybody must have access to that toilet. Then coming to the next item that we shouldn't miss in this interview is the operation of the private sector that evacuate our septic tanks. We need to sanitize that. It is important, because when you look at what is happening in Abuja, you see a situation whereby somebody will go with a truck, vacuum truck, and empty the content of your soakaway pit and transport it to the body of water and dump the shit there. So this is a massive open defecation, which we believe the FCT, in collaboration with the major stakeholders, must address that, because those operators are being permitted by Abuja Environmental Protection Board. So it is a responsibility of Abuja Environmental Protection Board to monitor where they discharge what they have collected. And no, even in the new language and in the new technology that we have, somebody can buy a piece of land and make it a sheet farm, where you go and drop the sheets through the natural process. You can be able to treat the sheets and get the necessary organic fertilizer that you can package and sell to the farmers. So this is our new thinking, and this is the way I think.
Thanks for you being to hand our program. Thank you for being a part of Issues Behind the News, a program that is deep into topical issues in the country. And we are coming your way. Next edition still remain silent. Bye for now.